And we are recording, Mr. Mo.
I'm ready.
However, I see, unlike me, someone has not taken advantage of that outside sun. Good
Yeah,
Lord. It's like
you know, I
reflecting the light.
I know. I yeah, you're right. I've been so busy at work and it's been insane my job. So I've been just a workaholic. So
You look
what can
like
you do?
Count Dracula.
Yeah.
It's he won't suck your blood.
I,
Hey.
I was in spin class today and they turned the lights off and I illuminated.
Oh God, you look like a CSI poster. Just
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'm going for the Twilight look.
Oh,
So
that
maybe
makes
if they
sense.
were casting for like a prequel or a sequel, then I would be considered.
Totally. And then you could totally, meet the age requirement of 123 years old and,
Correct.
great vampires.
Now I don't sparkle in sunlight, but my farts have been known to have glitter in them. So
That's true.
maybe potato.
I hear it's just baby oil. And after Diddy got captured, there's a lot of it on the market now. So you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just little, they just splatter you with baby oil and someone just goes, with some
I
stuff.
watched this.
Ah!
I watched this video earlier on Instagram, like the reels, and this guy was taking videos of reactions from cashiers at supermarkets, and he would just put a thing of baby oil and a banana on the conveyor belt to just see what they would say. And I just thought that was so funny. I was like, I wish someone would do that to me at my job, something of that nature. It would just make my
Yourself
day.
care. Why would they have a banana and some baby? Maybe if you guys start carrying that.
I think it's so
Take these
funny.
glasses and that baby oil. I brought that from home, actually. That's my baby oil.
Yeah.
Anywho, we're going to do this in 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge!
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the Frat Chat Podcast.
All young men like 3 things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts in time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris CMO Moore. Call him Edward, baby. How's it going, Mr. Man?
Hola. I'm good, thanks. How are you, dude?
I am living the dream. I am feeling much better this week. It was a long week, but a good week.
Yeah.
And now the sun is out. It feels good. But however, we're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be 41 degrees. So
I'm actually tomorrow flying to Chicago, and it's going to be a little bit warmer in Chicago.
Well, is this work related again or?
Yes, I'll be traveling for the next 3 weeks, but I'll be available to record. But I'll be on the road for the next 3 weeks.
Wow.
I actually just gave my houseplants away because I was like, they'll be dead when I come back. So
that's a big
well, I don't want to do that to them. I like my plants, so I found them nice homes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's sad when a houseplant dies. I had one in my Hoboken apartment that lived for like 8 or 9 years, and then I don't know what the fuck happened. It just died one day. It just started deteriorating, and nothing I did would bring it back, and it just died. And his name was Mr. Planty, and I miss him.
I had a cat that used to piss in potted plants, and that's what killed them. Can Julie account for the times that plants have gone a little brown?
At the time she moved in, and I always wonder why she didn't use the bathroom that much.
Well,
now I know.
The whole like, girls don't poop. Yes, you do. You do in my fucking plant. And I caught you.
Right.
You're on Candy Camera now.
Candy Camera.
Well, I wanted to tell you that. So I live in Astoria, and it's very Greek. And so I dropped off my laundry at the local laundromat, and they
Right.
do like a wash and fold for me. It's a good deal. And it's so convenient because like laundry takes like an entire day if you don't have laundry in your
Yeah.
building. So like
Totally.
they're great. I love them so much. And she said, listen, this was last week. She's like, listen, tomorrow we're going to be closed for um, Greek Easter. And I said, no, 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 no. That was last week. You missed it. She's like, no. I was like, yeah, I know because all the candy went on sale the following Monday. Like you missed it. Like they're like Easter's over. She said, not my Easter. I was like, oh, you have your own Easter? She's like, yeah, Greek Easter. It's like, what?
Oh no.
And so I looked it up and she's right. Ooh, I
Yes,
have
of
to
course she's right.
apologize. I didn't know it was a different day. So what are you talking about?
It's like Chinese New Year is a different day. It's
I didn't know. I thought
Yes,
Greek
you corrected a Greek
I
person
thought
on their
like
own
Greek
holidays.
Christianity was similar to like
Hmm.
other like denominations of Christianity. I thought that like
Well, a
Christmas
little
is the
history.
same and like Easter's the same and all these things.
A little history lesson here. So,
Hmm.
uh, Christianity originally, when it came to be, like Christmas, for example, it's not actual Jesus' birthday at all. That December 25th or 24th, depending where you're at, but really the 25th is a pagan holiday already. So what they did when these people were conquered by these now Christian following kings is that they didn't want to piss them off by taking away their holidays because that was like a very sacred thing to them. So rather than getting rid of the holidays, they just changed the names. So they were the same holidays, but they just made whatever the main pagan holiday was. They changed to Christmas and all this shit. So basically, they could just seamlessly transition into Catholicism or Christianity without it being a big hoopla. So that's the same thing here with like the Greeks. In this particular case, their Easter probably was just a different date, and they were allowed to keep it to whatever the fuck it is. So they get Greek Easter. So there's really a way not to create giant riots and
Well, then there you
losing
go.
their heads. So the more you know, the more
The
you
more
know.
you know.
I took world history in high school, and I still remember that. Oh yeah.
I think
Anyway,
I think I took world history, but I don't remember anything. Like when they talk about the news, I'm always like, where is Lebanon on the map? Where is it in
to be fair,
relation to Israel?
I was also a political science major in college, and I took a bunch of like history and you know stuff related classes. That shit
Yeah.
always interested me, and I read a lot about it. So I still remember a bunch. But enough about us now. It's time to hear from you guys because it's emails from the listeners. And one of these days, I'm going to get around to making a kick-ass theme song for emails from the listeners. Just wait, people. However, listeners, if you're good at making music, send us something. If we like it, we'll start using it. Short little jingle, 10 seconds, 15 seconds at most. Something we can just wiggle to or squiggle.
I can write a theme song.
Yeah, but can you record it and produce it and make it cool? That is the question.
If my if I have those capabilities on an app on my iPhone, then yes.
Well, then,
Maybe
listeners, do it before CMO does it.
can
And if I
can
like it more than CMO,
ChatGPT do it for us?
no, I don't think it's that cool yet. I don't know if I trust ChatGPT's theme songs. They probably have some hidden messaging in it to wake up the machines. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'll just ask it if fart jokes are funny, and that's how we're slowly bonding. But that's how I go.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we got some good ones this week. Mine is an interesting one that I think it might lead to some debate. So you go ahead and start us off, Mr. Mao.
Okay. So this is from Rob from
No way.
Louis.
My guy is Robbie from LA. You
Oh,
guys
really?
Rob from Louisville. Rob and Robbie.
Oh, is it pronounced?
Baby.
It is pronounced Louisville. I was going to say
Yeah.
Louisville.
Louisville? No.
Louis. Louisville is different than St. Louis, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
So Louisville, Kentucky.
That's right.
Although when I look at this, all I see is KYAO. So
I know. I always see that too. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
I can't look at the states without getting all horned up. America. Okay, so Rob writes, "Hi, frat chat. Loyal listener here, and my favorite segment is not the drag queens. Holler. My favorite segment might be emails from the listeners if you pick this email, but I guess we'll see. Well, it's your lucky day. Rob,
you
you
like
basically
Bradley.
won the lottery."
Yeah.
So he writes, "There seems to be a disproportionate amount of conservative leaders, whether in religious circles or government, who engage in gay behavior and lots who engage in predatory behavior. Occasionally we hear about a liberal, but the disproportionate numbers are staggering. Why do you think this is?" Rob from Louisville, Kentucky.
Actually, it reminds me. Did you see Lauren Boebert this week on the news? She was being interviewed.
About
And all
being
of a sudden
horny or something?
Yeah, she's like, "Why is everybody so horny around here? Y'all need to find Jesus." It's like, lady, didn't you just try giving someone a hand jobby at
Yeah.
Beetlejuice? You try to juice someone at Beetlejuice. You know, you don't really have the right
She
to.
She's always slinging yogurt like a fucking whore.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, she's a babe. I'd get it to her, but hey, come on, lady.
You know what?
Tea cat. What is it? The teapot cat and the kettle black. Isn't that? Is that the thing?
Teapot calling the kettle black. I guess so. But I think I think that she's damn. You
The
hear the
pigeons are
pigeons
great.
again? The pigeons they're even horny.
They're like whore.
Yeah. So I think that I think Lauren Boebert might be the prettiest one in the room, but outside of the room, I don't think she's very pretty. Does that make sense? Like when she's standing next to
fair.
Lindsey Graham, I'm like, okay, like if I
That's
had to
true.
pick between the two, obviously Lauren
Absolutely.
Boebert over the gay
Absolutely.
man,
Absolutely.
Lady Graham.
You're right.
So but if she was standing next to Hollywood celebrities, I don't think she would compare, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll give you that. 1,000%.
Or even like if she was, you know, standing next to half of the sorority girls we used to party with back in the day, I still don't think she would compare. Like she wouldn't be a Zeta.
Totally.
She would be an AGD. Sorry guys.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
So I think Rob, you're correct. I mean, obviously, we had someone in California recently get called out for doing some creepy shit, and he's a Democrat.
But they resigned at least.
Yeah. So we held him accountable. So I think that's how you should do it.
That's the key.
And so I don't care if anyone is, I don't care what affiliation they are. Like if you're a creepo, then like you should be held accountable for it. Right. I do think that conservative, people who are conservative tend to be very indoctrinated in Christianity, but like the evangelical Christianity, and there's this like weird notion that you can just repent if you just ask for forgiveness, then all's forgiven. I don't think that's true though. I think that like if you are a shithead, then you shouldn't just be able to like admit it and move forward. Like you have to like live in it for a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you have to actually mean it. It's not just like you can't just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I stabbed your mom." You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. And I'm back to this is the thing. A lot of these people who teach this shit didn't read this shit, but there was I think it was a murderer who was dying in the Bible, and Jesus went to talk to the fucker, and everybody's "Don't do it, Jesus," and then he the guy was like really repenting and was like, "I feel so bad, I lived a horrible life," and then Jesus kind of forgave him, and off he goes into heaven supposedly. So it's shit like that, but like that guy actually meant it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like he wasn't just like, "I'm sorry, Jesus." Wank. And that's the thing with these stories. Like I'm not even like I don't go to fucking church. I haven't been. Last time I went to a church was my dad's funeral. You know what I mean? Before that, it had been like 20 years. I'm not what you'd say a good Christian Catholic. I remember all the history. I took a comparative religions class, so I know a lot about different religions. It's important to know. The important thing to know is they all teach the same shit. Be a good person, and you have to actually mean repent. When you repent, you have to actually mean it in order to actually be forgiven. So that is the key thing. And you know, a lot of the look at all these guys. They claim to follow the Bible, but they don't follow it at all. They just use it to oppress the masses. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's why they don't
it's
want to
so
give to the
performative.
poor. They don't give a fuck about foreigners. All the things that Jesus actually spoke about in the Bible by giving a fuck. The things that you should give a fuck about. You know what I mean? Welfare, things like that are all things that Republicans should be fighting for, especially not only because they're people, their constituents are the ones that use it the most, but two, because literally if they claim to be so Christian to use it for abortion and gay rights and shit like that, then they should also read the full fucking Bible that says, okay, it's this, but also care for your neighbor, care for the needy, care for the sick, give them health care, all this shit. So they pick and choose what the Bible says just to oppress people as opposed to actually following it. And that is the problem, which is why to the email here, you see so many that get convicted of and caught being deviants because these motherfuckers are all hiding something, and which is why they broke Grinder when they went to do the RNC
Yeah,
because they claim to be one thing to oppress, but it's rules for thee, not for me type of situation, and they're fucking deviants in their own right. So they just use this to win votes because people are too fucking stupid to realize that they're being fooled, and they'll vote for this shit.
yeah, I
But
agree.
they're hidden, and you know, here we are, and it's gonna keep coming out. And also, when they do get caught, like notice, like CMO mentioned, the Democrat guy, California, held him accountable. He's no longer in a position of power. These guys, on the other hand, when they do something fucked up, they cover for each other and they hide and they gaslight and they say that it's fake news. Prime example being Matt Gaetz. He almost got a really high position of power because they were fucking lying, and it took a lot of action and a lot of outrage to get the info on him to come out and for him to step down. But he almost
Yeah.
was the fucking attorney general. So let's not forget that.
Well, I also think, have you ever seen that movie American Beauty with Kevin Spacey?
Yes.
Remember when like the neighbor was like closeted and they killed him?
Yep.
I think that sometimes when people have um these feelings, maybe they're homosexual feelings, and when you're indoctrinated in a religion that condemns those feelings, there's a lot of internalized homophobia and internalized shame. And I think that
Yeah.
people tend to I think that they tend to lash out against those communities in an effort to, I don't know, they're trying, they're being performative to like prove to people that they aren't of that community,
I
or
ain't
if it's
gay.
just a
Yeah.
psychological thing that they're like, you know, maybe if I punish those who are similar, then I'm fighting against my own inner demons. I'm not sure. I think there's a psychological thing about it,
Totally.
but I feel like if we were to teach more tolerance in the church, especially, that people would be a little bit more adjusted. So
Hey,
I have to
now it's not
say,
just a river in Egypt, you know?
yeah. And so Rob, my answer to your question, I don't think that religion is a bad thing, but I do think that we have a bad mega MAGA church, like a bad evangelical Christian problem in the United States. And I think that a lot of people make decisions based off of their wrong perception of what the Bible's teaching. And
Totally.
it's sad to me. It's really sad. It's so performative.
Totally.
So that's
And
what I
it's
think.
politicians taking the Bible out of context. Because, for example,
Absolutely.
look at the feud now between Donald Trump and the Pope. You know,
Yeah.
the Pope said what the Pope is supposed to say, and now the Trump is calling him woke and shit, and like it's like
Yeah.
what, and even threatening him with with dated history from the 1800s or 1600s when popes used to get assassinated and shit. So it's like, come on, bro, you can't threaten the fucking Pope. That's
This
not
Pope was
cool.
like selling what's it called indulgences, and like there's a lot of immorality of the Pope. And back in the
Yeah,
day,
back then it was the fucking medieval times. You know what I mean? Anything went. Now it's a little fucking different. You can't fucking go kill the Pope, Donald Trump, and so and here you go. The Pope is just teaching his message, which is what Jesus would have said. This war is stupid. Don't go to war. Don't kill kids. And
you
then
know
he's like,
what?
oh, he's so woke. Yeah, so
Did you see
it,
that?
it goes to show they don't even believe this shit. They just again rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah, did you see that? That picture that Trump posted of him looking like Jesus and like healing
Oh
someone.
yeah, yeah.
So
I'm a doctor.
I
I thought I was a doctor, not
yeah, it's so
Jesus.
ridiculous.
I'm
And so
sorry. I work for the red class.
I have a
You
coworker
dumbass.
who's super conservative at my job, and she's like, I'm MAGA, but as a Christian, she's like, I can't stand behind this. She's like, this was the last straw for me. And I was like, this was the last
Yeah.
straw. A picture was the last, just that was it.
Hey man,
Nothing else. Okay, I'll
they
take
literally
it.
need pictures. MAGA does not read. They need
Yeah.
pictures. So this is exactly I don't care at this point what it takes for them to fucking leave the cult. Whatever it takes, dude. At this point, I'm not even going to be like, I fucking told you so, you fucking idiots, you motherfuckers. At this point, it's as long as that motherfucker loses support and these midterms go a different way and the next election goes a different way, it can go back to fucking normal. I'm willing to fucking just pretend that you're not a complete dumbass for being conned by this asshole for all this goddamn time. Now,
Yo
for like
estoy
12
de acuerdo.
years. So whatever it fucking takes, let him be a dumbass. Like, dude, fuck it. Come back to the light, people. Fuck. So that is my opinion. But anyways, it's time to move
Nice
to a different
observation,
level.
Rob from Louisville. I agree. You're right on
Yes,
the money. I you know what? You can't reason with crazy. So like, who really knows?
totally. So now it's time to move it to Robbie from LA. And Rob and Robbie, maybe you guys can discuss what drives you to be Rob versus Robbie? Is it an age thing? Like when you're like 21, are you Robbie? And then when you hit 30, you're Rob. And then when you hit 40 or 50, you'll be Robert. How does that work? Discuss amongst yourselves. Let us
Why
know.
not Bobby? Isn't
Yeah,
Bobby a
exactly.
nickname
Then you
for
become
Robert?
Bob. You also become Bob at some point. Maybe when you're like 70, you're Bob. But why not? Why weren't you Bobby? Robbie? Because Rob at least. I mean, maybe he's too young to be a Bob. But yeah, we want to know. We have questions. Robs
You
and
know,
Bobs.
my
Let us know.
legal name is Christopher, but I prefer to be called Admiral.
That's right.
You know what? One time I was hooking up with this guy, right? And we were just like making out. And I was actually sitting on him and we're kissing. And
Oh.
he was like, so are you into role play? And I slapped him across the face and I said, call me Admiral. And then you know what he said?
Go
He
on.
said, get out.
Ah!
And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you don't get to slap me in my own home. I was like, oh, I thought I was being like flirty. And he's like, I'm not into role play. I said, well, I thought you were. He said, no,
Well, why did you ask?
he's like, I asked because we were talking about it earlier, joking, and I didn't know if that was like your thing or not. He's like, I'm vanilla. I said, okay, I can be vanilla too. I said, are you serious? He's like, yeah, get out. He's like, never call me again.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. I was like, did I slap you that hard? He's like, yes. I was like, oh, sorry.
It's like bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, that is a stupid thing to bring up in the middle of hooking up with someone. Are you into role play? That clearly insinuates that you want to role play. Like, what the
He
fuck?
was like asking a legitimate question, and not necessarily leading to something, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but no, that is not the time. Like, no. Like, it's like if I'm hooking up with someone's like, hey, are you into me kissing your neck? You know what I mean? And she says, yeah. And I just like go back to not doing that. She's gonna be like, oh, I thought you were gonna kiss my neck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what? It's he fucked that up. That's not on you. Maybe you
Hey,
should have slapped him that hard.
are you
Maybe
into
you need to
ben,
learn a pro wrestling slap, or something. But
are you into bananas and baby oil?
are you into a finger in the asshole?
Yeah.
Good, smell mine.
Yeah. Dirty Sanchez, baby. Okay. So what did Robbie have to say?
Robbie, let's see. So this one, I feel like this is relatable, people. Especially you. You also brought up someone recently that had a long distance thing. So I think everybody, long distance is just tough. I've been there; it's tough. But he goes, "Hey, Frat Chat crew, long time listener, first time emailing. My name is Robbie. I'm from LA, and I recently met a girl online who lives in NYC. We've been talking for a while before we decided to meet in person. So even though it's technically our first time hanging out, it didn't feel like total strangers. I was still pretty nervous though, because you never really know how things would translate offline. The first day went well, really well actually. No awkward silences, good chemistry, easy conversation. I left thinking, okay, this could actually go somewhere. But on day two, things took a turn. Out of nowhere, she kind of sat me down and started asking me if I would ever consider moving to New York City for her. Not like a casual, what do you think about NYC, but more like a serious future planning kind of conversation. I totally understand that if a relationship were to develop, that's a real conversation we'd eventually need to have. But it felt so intense and so early, especially since we had literally just met in person. I felt this like weird pressure, like I was being asked to commit to a future I hadn't even had time to think about yet. And I'll be honest, I panicked. I basically pulled back, got uncomfortable, and ended up leaving shortly after. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I completely overreacted or if that's a normal, too much too soon situation. So I guess my questions are, was I overreacting by running from that moment? And more importantly, if this happened to you in a first in person hangout after long distance chatting, how would you have handled it? Would love your brutally honest takes. Thanks, Robbie from LA.
Ooh, ugh.
I know, dude. That's what I said. Like,
No,
so,
this is like 90-day fiance stuff. So like people
yes.
do this, but I do
Mm-hmm.
feel like people tend to like they embark on these relationships for like years. So I feel like
Yes.
if you've been talking to this person for a very, very long time, I guess maybe, I don't know. I guess I would want I have a qualifying question for Robbie, and that is, when you came to New York, did you stay with her or did you stay in a hotel? Because I think if you stayed with her and you guys are acting like a unit, do you know what I mean? If you guys are
Mhm.
acting like a married couple already, then um, I don't know, maybe
Totally.
mixed signals. If in this long distance relationship, if you've been dropping the love bomb and talking about the future, and then maybe she was following your
Yeah,
lead. I don't know, but I tend to be a little bit more cautious. So like that's all. So that would freak me out.
totally.
I would change my number.
Yeah, me too, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Hmm.
especially, I'm taking it that uh it wasn't, like from the conversation, from what it says, it seems like, it wasn't super lovey, but there was something there for sure. And he says, I get that this is a conversation we eventually would need to have, but it just felt too soon. I would also run. I take this as, and I'm a guy that, for example, when I met Julie, I something just told me that she was like the one. I don't know why, but like I knew, and I even had to fight the urge to be too much too early, because I knew that I was going to terrify her. So if I fucking did that to her back then, she probably would have run away. You know what I mean? It's like, it's too much. It's just too much. And sometimes, and I'm not trying to generalize with ladies, but I feel like there's a particular type of girl, but there's also a particular type of guy that likes to either catastrophize or romanticize things. And so they start thinking about like movies they used to fucking watch and the rom coms and the bullshit. And it's kind of brainwashed your mind into thinking that if you just have this conversation or do one like romantic gesture, like things will just magically go your way. Let me tell you, that happens in the movies. That's not real life. In real life, people will be like, bitch, literally are meeting for the first time. You're crazy. Like,
I think that you have to um pass certain milestones before you can have the
yes,
conversation.
yes,
Have you
yes,
farted in front of this person yet?
yes,
Like, have you
yes. Do they know
met
you
like
poop?
Yeah,
Do they
have
know
you
you
met
poop?
your family, your friends?
Have they walked
Um,
into the bathroom after you taken a dump and smelled and be like, oh, and still decided to
yeah,
like, I'm staying with this person?
yeah,
Because
and
I've
then
been in the
also,
bathroom after Taco Tuesday with Julie. Let me tell you, you question some things.
didn't you guys meet on Taco Tuesday?
That's definitely corn. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think that like you guys should like spend some time like sleeping over each other's houses to see if you're compatible like roommates. I
Yeah,
think that
yeah. There needs to be time before
there's so
you
many
pressure
things, and
someone.
so just to jump the gun and be like, let me put this shit on lockdown, that's weird. Now I understand having a conversation about exclusivity and saying, I think it's okay to say like listen, like if this really works out, I would hope that at some point, you know, we could cohabitate. But I think it's okay to put out feelers, but
Totally,
that's a little bit too direct for my taste. That
I
would really
agree.
freak me out.
I
Yeah,
agree. You got to hold off people.
yeah,
You got to once you become official for a couple months. The first conversation you need to have, especially after hanging out like that, is like Simo said, talk about exclusivity. And that even that, I wouldn't have that conversation in the first hangout. Maybe the second hangout, if you're staying with each other, or like acting like a unit type thing. Then after that's established for a couple months and you're actually a long distance relationship, then you start thinking, well, once you travel back and forth a couple times, would one of us move to the other person? And if not, then it was fun while it lasted. But you can't freak people out. You can't be too much too soon. They will run away. So, Robbie, we don't blame you, buddy. I think if it was us, we would be on that plane so fucking fast that we just can't blame you. So you're good, dude. I think you're good. Hopefully it works out. We would love updates. Let us know if you talk to her again, how it happens, if you guys become an item or not, and if someone moves. But yeah, to give her the benefit of the doubt, maybe she's scared, she's nervous. I don't know you guys' age, but I know, for example, I was about to turn 30 when I met Julie, so I was kind of also like not trying to date someone that I was just gonna have a fling with in my time. I was kind of like taking relationships, like I was judging people a little more harshly. Cause it's like if you're gonna
yeah,
date someone and make it an item, spend money on them and shit, like you want to be someone you're gonna like see a future with, not just some fucking 3 month, 6 month relationship. You know what I mean? That's a waste of time. So maybe she's just scared, scared to be alone. But
when
I still want to know.
when
It's still
he
too much to
wrote,
do.
he said, and I quote, "Was I overreacting by running from that moment?" If you literally ran away screaming, I do think that's an overreaction. But if that's a metaphor, then no, I don't think that you're overreacting.
Totally. Yeah. If you were like,
Can you imagine? Ah! Stranger,
he's
stranger,
just sitting in
I need an
the
adult.
he's just in the Uber screaming out the window ah! As he drives away.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, anyways, Robbie, good luck. Give us some updates, and
Good luck in life,
sounds,
buddy.
yeah. I hope you got away. And that is emails from the listeners. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the news. Get in there, Michael. You gotta get the glasses. Yeah. There we go. Like that. Oh my god. That was the best one yet. All right. So, a federal jury in New York just dropped a massive ruling finding that Live Nation and Ticketmaster operated as an illegal anti-competitive monopoly over major concert venues and live events in the US.
You
Actually,
called
Taylor
it.
Swift. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
She brought some shit about this and we talked about it, so good thing. I feel like a genius sometimes and I'll take it.
you
And
called
yes,
it.
this is this This is the same Ticketmaster that everyone blames every time a 45 ticket magically becomes $217 after fucking fees and processing. So here's what went down. The case was brought up by the U.S. Department of Justice alongside more than 30 states, arguing that Live Nation basically wasn't just in the concert industry, it was the whole damn system. They allegedly controlled a huge chunk of venues, locked in exclusive deals, and made it nearly impossible for competitors to actually compete. And the jury agreed. And they didn't just say, it kind of sucks. They found the whole company violated antitrust laws and overcharged fans by about $1.72 per ticket on average. Now, before you
Wow.
say $1.72, that's it, multiply that across millions of tickets,
Yeah.
and you're suddenly in the hundreds of millions of dollars territory.
Mhm.
So that's real fucking money. That's someone's private jet has a backup private jet money. Now, the ruling doesn't instantly change ticket prices tomorrow, but it opens the door for something much bigger, like massive financial penalties, forced changes to how Ticketmaster operates, and yes, even the possibility of breaking up Live Nation and Ticketmaster entirely. Live Nation, of course, is doing what every corporate defendant does in this situation. They're saying the ruling is wrong, appealing it, and insisting that God, I'm having a stroke here. Not in a monopoly. Not in a monopoly. Say it 10 times. They're just a very successful in a competitive market, is their quote. Which is also what every fucking monopoly says right before things get spicy. Meanwhile, fans everywhere are reacting the same way. Wait, so you're telling me it wasn't normal for tickets to cost the same as a used car payment? So what happens next? A judge will decide the actual punishment and whether this turns into fines or a full-blown structural breakup of one of the biggest powers in live entertainment. Either way, the message from the jury is very clear. The era of surprise $80 fees at checkout might finally be under legal attack. And somewhere out there, a group of concert promoters just collectively said, uh-oh. So that's the news. And God, it feels good to be right sometimes. So
You know,
that fucking
I have
man.
a friend that works at a venue in Chicago, and he was like, young people don't like drink that much these days, and so we have no other choice but to raise ticket prices because we used to make a lot of money off drink sales, but they're
Right.
into like other party drugs, so like they're like tripping on Molly and
That's true.
whatnot, and they're not really interested in drinks. He's like, so the markup for alcohol at these events is astronomical. It's so profitable. They have a few kegs to charge even like $8 a beer. Like you make some
Yeah.
good money, but no one's buying beer. So I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
young people ruin everything. God damn it. But yeah, you called it.
Yeah,
You
man.
said, yeah. So I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner.
I
To be
know.
fair,
Well, they have a lot of money to delay, and they will keep trying to appeal, which will push any decision probably for months or maybe even years. So we'll see. Hopefully, something gets done, but we'll see. Anyways, now it is time for not the drag queens, and credit to our favorite social media channel that exposes this kind of bullshit, Right Wing Watch, on Instagram for flagging this story. So, all right, people.
All right, what
This
happened?
week, we got a good one. Because today we're heading to Kaukauna, Wisconsin. Never heard of it. Where a 31-year-old former Catholic school teacher, Colin Killoran, has pled guilty to 17 counts of child sexual exploitation and possession of child sexual abuse material. According to investigators, multiple sexually explicit images and videos involving children were tied back to a social messaging account connected to him. An additional 13 counts were dismissed, but still entered into the record as part of the case. Sentence is scheduled for April. Now, here's the thing. He previously taught at Ignatius Catholic School and Chesterton Academy in Kaukauna. Police have stated there's no evidence that any students from those schools were victims, which is obviously a critical distinction in a pretty disturbing case. Still, the allegations and the guilty plea alone have shaken the community, given his position working in a faith-based educational environment. Almost like the call is coming from inside the house again.
Always. My God.
Now,
Horrible.
what's also been noted is that Killoran's public X account reflected alignment with MAGA adjacent political circles, following organizations and figures like the Heritage Foundation, the Trump White House, Cato Institute, and Ben Shapiro, which is just,
Ugh, what a loser.
ugh. Yeah. As always, that detail is part of the public record, not a casual claim, but it's the kind of overlap that tends to fuel online discourses when cases like this break. Because again, yeah, not the drag queens, people. Now, another grim entry for the segment, and a reminder that these cases are unfortunately not rare, regardless of the ideology people try to attach to them after the fact. Because even though many of the right try to BS you that drag queens and the LGBTQ plus are the ones to watch out for, as this segment keeps showing you week after week after week for now our second season running it, the call is coming from inside the house.
And sometimes it's the house of God.
That's right.
It's
Or
pretty
the White House.
unfortunate.
So it's not the drag queens, people. That's not the drag queens. Pretty crazy shit.
Speaking of drag queens, I'm gonna put on some lip gloss.
Now you really look like Edward from from Twilight.
It's this,
And
it's
the
this like
background
lip.
looks like the sparkles.
Is this hydrating lip serum by Elf?
By Elf.
But my lips are chapped, so I want my lips to look kissable for the 4 viewers on our YouTube page.
That's right.
Look at me now.
Okay,
Okay,
it's true. We have like 30,000 in our other channels and like 6 on YouTube. So I have a feeling it's not because of the handsome, now jacked again, tan Hispanic. It could be the pale elf over there, but you know, who knows?
dude, you are getting jacked. I saw you posted a picture the other day at the gym, and I was
Brother,
like, "Oh,
brother.
someone's getting ready for his wedding."
I'm back, baby. Except I most people want to have like that like Brad Pitt body for their wedding. I'm going for like Chong Li in Bloodsport. You know what I mean?
Uh huh.
I'm going for like heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. That's what I'm going for. This is like because I hear after you like reach like 40 or 45 or so, depending on most guys, you start to lose 1% to 2% body mass every year. So obviously different genetics and things play into it and how you take care of yourself. But it's like, man, I'm fucking turned 38. So I have limited time here to get into like a beefy muscular mode that I always wanted to look like. So that's what I'm going for right now. And then we'll see what happens in 10 years.
I work out a lot at the gym because I'm sad.
Me too, dude. It's been so great. I forgot like how great for my mental health the gym was. Like it really is so good. And I, you know, because basically the reason I stopped going so much was because my gym closed down during COVID, the New York Sports Club I used to go to. And so I didn't have a gym to go to. And then I started going to a Planet Fitness, and it was fine for what it was. But like during the summer months, for example, they allow kids to just come in for free, which is a great thing in my opinion, because you know it gets kids in the gym and teaches them to go work out and shit. So it's good for them. But then you'd go at like the times that I like to go, and it was fucking packed, and there'd be like 6 kids to a goddamn machine, so you know they weren't going anywhere anytime soon. So you couldn't do anything, so I just wouldn't go. Now I'm into Crunch Fitness. I love it, so I'm there like 5-6 days a week. So
I've heard a lot of good things about Crunch Fitness.
Super good.
So
and it has a sauna and steam room combo. So like, fucking love that.
My trainer was like, "What is your goal?" And I was like, "My goal is to not murder assholes on the MTA. So like, I need to work out to clear my head." He's like, "Yeah, but physically, I mean, obviously, yeah, we all want to look good, but like, my goal is just to like not get any more bar fights. I got one a few weeks ago.
Totally. I know, man. Yeah, your record's not looking so good.
I know.
Oh, man.
Got a lot of pent-up rage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for this list, are we going to share our best and worst, or are we doing all the best or all the worst?
You could start with the worst and then go to the best, but they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So maybe I should introduce the segment.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That is usually important. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, frat chatters, of all ages.
Theys and thems.
That's right, theys and thems,
Yeah.
couch fuckers like JD Vance, and those who just like to sit on them. First dates are already a gamble, but when you're trying to save money, things get even more dangerous because there's budget friendly and there's I accidentally turned this into a personality test I didn't warn you about. And the problem is, a lot of cheap first dates ideas sound good on paper. Like they sound thoughtful, cultured, romantic. But in reality, they're held together by hope, people, and vibes, and whatever discount you found 5 minutes before meeting up. So, today we're breaking down the best and worst first dates if you're trying to save money because, yes, you can be broke and still pull off a good date. Look at me. I'm getting married, and I had like $16 when we met. But you can also be broke and accidentally create a situation where neither of you want to see each other again. So let's get into it. We got the top 10 best and worst first date ideas if you want to save money. Brought to you by the Frat Chat Podcast. Oh, yeah. It's going to be good. And I'm trying to extend this intro because I really do like this song. Yeah, shake those tatters, CMO.
I wish I had tatters like Brian Nome.
Oh, yeah. That's what
I could really get into this.
Now I get why he buys those, actually. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. If he ever falls into a pool, he can just float there.
Yeah.
Good times, good times. Anyway.
I wonder what the TSA agents say whenever they're scanning Brian Nome's like carry-on. They're like, wow, he's sending some crazy shit.
Or I wonder if he ever wears them during TSA when he goes through. So they're doing the wand. It's like, brr, brr.
But I feel like at my job we have some celebrity clients, but I'm not allowed to talk about it because I have to protect their medical privacy, HIPAA laws, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So I wonder if TSA has similar laws that they're like, we saw a celebrity and we scanned their bag and we saw a breastplate, but we're not allowed to talk about it. Or there's like whips and chains and like dildos and things and this politician, but we're not allowed to talk about it. So I wonder if they are allowed to.
So I actually, you're not going to believe this. The celeb is coming through the airport. I can't tell you who it is, but they had a 12-inch dildo right up their ass. And we saw it. We scanned it on the machine. I can't tell you who it is, but let me just say it rhymes with sped shrews. Sped shrews. I can't tell you who they're. Never going to tell you. Don't ask. Don't ask. Really. But let me tell you, he loves Cancun.
All right. So we got 2 words. First word, 1 syllable. Sounds like asshole. You guessed it. Ted Cruz. There you go. Good job.
Oh shit! I was about to say sorry, Ted Cruz, but no, I'm not. Fuck you, Ted Cruz.
Let me give you a hint. Who am I? Am I a puppy at the front door that got left behind during the biggest freeze in Texas history? Yes, I am. I'm referring to Ted Cruz. What a fucking loser.
Yeah, no one likes Ted Cruz. How does he keep winning elections when no one likes him? Like, not one person. If you ask Republicans, too, they're like, fuck Ted Cruz. I don't know how he wins elections.
I would love to get into the MMA fighting ring with him. I would love it. There's a few people that I would just love to get in the boxing ring with. I'm not even a trained boxer, but I wouldn't mind practicing with that asshole. Anyway.
Anyways, on to the first one. Why don't you start us off, Mr. Mo? First your worst, then your best.
So I have a friend that told me that he took this girl to IKEA for the first date, And I was like, why? And he
No.
was like, well, they have food there. And I was like, so I'm sorry.
What?
So you guys, your first experience was like running errands? And he was like, yeah, I don't think running errands together is a good first date. I think
No.
it feels like you're squeezing them into your schedule as opposed to like setting aside some like real quality time with that person. So I think
Yes.
that's horrible. And
I don't
so
even like to run errands with Julie now. Like, what the fuck?
yeah, so I think that you should like there should be like a nice intention and there should be some planning involved. But like to be like, yeah, I'm pretty busy, but if you want to like do these boring activities with me, that's fine. Like, and I asked my friend, like, did you make this poor girl build furniture with you afterwards? He's like, no, I would never do that. Oh, because that's weird. But having her go shopping and push your cart is not weird.
Yeah.
That's that's not that's not a good first date experience.
No, not at all. That is not only is it boring as fuck, but like nothing that you have to do unless literally you have the most interesting life ever. Like maybe if you're like a Hollywood celebrity and your errands were like running to set to talk to Harrison Ford for like 5 minutes and say, oh, come with me. You know what I mean? Then I get it. But no, dude, if like you're going to the fucking laundromat and then IKEA and then you gotta get dog food and shit, what are you thinking? That is like
Mhm.
not that is not first date time shit. Like no. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to get my dog's diarrhea medication. Come with me, baby. Do you think she's gonna fucking get her pantaloons loose for you, buddy? No, no, that is just terrible.
Yeah,
Super boring too. So
totes.
that's not good. What's a good? What's
That
a
is.
good, better option then, Mister Mao? Instead of running
Well,
his errands.
I think so. A lot of towns, like there's one in like most boroughs in New York, but a lot of towns have botanical gardens. So I think that
Yep,
parks are nice. But a botanical garden is like magical. So let's say you were to
totally.
go to the Prospect Park, like in Brooklyn, their botanical garden. Right now, the cherry blossom display is like acres of just beautiful pink fluffy trees. And then later in
Totally.
the year, if you go there, I mean, that won't be in season, but like, the rose garden will be. And so like
Totally.
if you're looking for a cute Instagram picture, I mean, take your pick. And there's like beautiful flowers and exotic plants like everywhere. So I think
Absolutely.
that could be fun to walk around if it's a nice day. And I
And
think
it looks planned. It's not like a thing where it's like, oh, let's just go to the park. Like when someone mentions the botanical garden, that takes someone who like actually looked something up. You know what I mean? Like there was planning behind this date to make it special, not just like, well, let's go to Central Park and hope we don't run into a hobo jerking off in the corner. You know what I mean? Like it's totally different. And there's like Sima said, there's botanical gardens in many different cities areas. I've been the one in Philly and shit. It's they're all around.
and they're always going to
There's
have a
different things to look.
cafe. So if you want a
Totally, and
beverage,
it's cheap.
alcoholic or
Absolutely,
non-alcoholic or a hot dog, whatever, like you can make a fun day out of it. But you can spend all day looking at all
totally,
the different. So
absolutely.
yeah,
And everybody dates, especially ladies, but also I'm sure the gays and hell, everybody, even me, everybody likes a great Instagram picture. So you can start showing your significant other that you're a good Instagram boyfriend sometimes and can take that good shot of them, fucking make them look like a star. That's going to be a memorable experience. So I would definitely recommend that. That sounds good.
well,
I
what do you
like it.
have? What's first on your list?
All right. Now on my end, for the worst, number 5 on my end, the worst is just going for a walk because this just makes you look broke, people. Because at first you will say to yourself, "Oh, it's romantic, free, and you get to chat and learn a lot about yourself." No, it'll force us to talk and see if there's real chemistry. But then 2 blocks in the walk, it basically turns into the walking tour of places I can't afford date. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, over there is a great restaurant. Never been though. Oh, I hear that place has excellent ice cream, but maybe when I get my tax refund done. So cool. So we're just window shopping to our own disappointment. You can do better than that. Like for example, Simo over there mentioned the botanical garden just now. That is great. It's not you're going for a walk in the sense of the word, but there's a plan behind it. You're not just strolling down fucking Fifth Avenue, seeing the places you're too poor to see. You got to have an activity, then you can implement the walk. It's cool. Now, for example, now that rather than just going for a stupid, boring walk, get coffee and then walk combo. And right there, like getting a coffee is the bare minimum for a decent first date. In fact, it's the most. We went on an app and I'm hedging my bets date possible. However, it's safe, it's low pressure, and flexible. Sitting down with your date in a public venue with a coffee and potential snacks is at least something that has the semblance of a traditional first date. And once you do a traditional date activity like that or the botanical garden, then it's totally fine to add a walk to it because that is technically extending the date. However,
Yeah.
one personal note from the Frat Chat podcast to you guys, be careful with walking after coffee because Seymour and I can both attest that you might want to plan your walking route around places with accessible bathrooms, or else your number two will keep you from a second date. Just tell you.
Yeah,
Just tell you.
coffee is such a diuretic. Coffee and
Mhm.
raisinets for me. I think that when I think of like going for a walk, I think of like my parents that like to go for a walk after dinner to help with their digestion.
Shit. Totally.
Yeah, and it helps them like I guess process, break down like the meal they just had. But I also think that that's just like a nice way of saying like we can like fart outside and no one knows, so we can just take a walk and relieve ourselves. So that's what I think of when I think people go for walks. It's like that's what old people do after they ate dinner.
Totally. That's why it's like a good after activity thing to do, but it's not like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. So, should we walk that way? Like what? Like that's
Yeah.
not like that's so fucking like weird and boring and lame and just screams of I can't afford to do anything. And trust me, sometimes like I literally when I met Julia, I could not afford to do anything. I was really fucking broke. I got lucky the day of our first date that a paycheck went through. It was actually from her renting an apartment. That's the one that we met in, and I was able to buy her dinner with that. And we went to tacos, which is not expensive either, uh, and kept the cash. Whoa, that bicycle agrees. But
Yeah.
it's like the kind of
I
thing
heard
where
I heard a small
if I
dick out the window.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, it's me. But yeah, dude, I've been so broke. So, however, just because you are broke doesn't mean you can't put in a little bit of effort, people. So that's all it takes. A coffee is not that expensive. Unless you go to Starbucks and get like a fucking grande, green tea frappuccino with extra fucking everything, you're looking at $4 or $5. So,
You know what?
and no, being in a relationship is expensive. So if like you're that broke, then maybe a relationship isn't. So you got to be able to at least put $10 into a date to make it decent.
Do you know the
$10.
comedian Kimberly Denaro?
Yes, I
Is it
do.
Denaro? Denaro. I went to her wedding. She's such a babe. She's so cool. And she has this like segment that she does on social media. She's like, this is what you're, she's also a bartender in addition to a writer and a full-time performer and producer and comic, all these things. So she's a hustler, but she talks about like, when you order this particular drink, this is what this drink says about you. And so I feel like if you go on a coffee date, I bet that there's like a lot you can tell about a person by like their coffee order. So like, let's say I go to Starbucks. I'm going to say, hey, can I just have a cold brew, black? That's it. Because I'm a simple guy. I'm not high maintenance in the least. So my friends are always
Yeah,
surprised. I think that people associate gay people with being high maintenance. Nope, not me.
totally.
But if I were to go up there and be like, if I just met someone and I place my order, I'm like, hi, can I have 1 pump of this, 2 pumps of that? Can I have I
Oh,
want a venti but in the grande cup. And I need it shaken and not stirred. I'm allergic to stirred. God damn it! So like, there's a lot you can tell about someone based on how they order. So that may
it's
be a
true.
nice little test.
It's true. And how they order, how they treat servers is definitely a great
Oh,
test on a first
totally.
date. But yeah, ordering in a coffee shop. Like I mean, for me, I'm a sucker for a good caramel frap on Starbucks. I love caramel, and and I'm sure it's literally like 500 calories. I don't give a fuck. But I'm pretty sure I stuck with the main Frappuccino before, during the early stages of our relationship, before getting like the really childish shit, like to have like the blue ribbon crunch Frappuccino with the little crunchies.
Yeah.
Now I don't give a fuck. Now I have no shame. I put a ring on it. You know what I mean? So I get the gayest drinks. I don't give a fuck. They're delicious.
Well, my next one is actually I put it in this order to piggyback on what you have. So you said just a walk is like boring. I think that in addition to that, if you go to like a long hike, I'm talking about
Mhm.
like hiking boots and
Yeah,
trails because there's no like
wilderness.
exit strategy until the trail comes to an end. So if it's a long
Right.
trail, then you're kind of like stuck. And I've seen too many Lifetime movies when someone might disappear from the trail. Like we just saw that
Totally.
like that married couple in
Literally.
Hawaii. The guy
Yeah, the
tried
guy
to kill
pushed
his
off the
wife
light. Yep.
allegedly.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
so
Yep.
I just don't think that's a good idea. And also if I'm gonna get dolled up and look nice for someone, I don't want them to see me like super sweaty unless we're like intimate. I
Yeah.
mean, it's sexy to see someone sweaty when you guys are rolling around sweaty and working up an appetite, but I don't want people to see me like struggling, like climbing a rock. One
Totally.
day maybe. Some
Totally.
people might be into that, but like,
Yeah, later on we can go hiking, but that's not like someone took me. It was the first weekend we hung out, and the night before went drinking, so I was super hungover, and then hiking before I left. And she loved to hike. I hated it. I should have been like, I don't really like hiking. Well, actually, to be fair, I did say that, and she's like, "Well, do you not want to go?" But the face she made, I was like, "No, I'll still go." And it was fucking awful, dude. It was so hot, and I was just so hungover. It's like, why would you take me drinking and then hiking? Makes no fucking sense.
and hiking makes you
Uh,
so thirsty. And so then you have
Literally.
dry mouth. And so when you're gonna have your first kiss potentially, you're gonna have like cotton mouth. Ugh,
Yeah,
gross.
not cool. Not cool at all. I totally agree. I'm glad you put this on because it just unlocks some awful memories. And the thing is, she was a great girl too.
Triggering. I'm
Yeah,
triggered.
she was awesome. But then this was like, no, there's not a chance in hell we're ever gonna work out. This is the shit she likes to do. Like, no fucking way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the only thing that could have been worse was if she would ask, "Would you consider moving down here with me?" while we're in the trail.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing that could have made it worse. But
And
yeah,
that's what
man,
we call a callback. But
that's right.
bing. So I have well, we have a fraternity brother. I'll tell you who it is later. But he took his then girlfriend on a hike, and at the end of the hike, family and friends were waiting, and he popped the question, and they took lots of pictures, and she was really upset about it. And he was like, "I don't
Yeah,
understand." I said, "Why didn't you
all
talk to me
smutty and
about
shit.
this?" Yeah, I said, "So those pictures are to be sent out everywhere." And she like, as I'm looking at these pictures, she has very noticeable crotch sweat and under titty sweat. Like no one wants that. You know what I mean? So you should, if you ever, if you're ever gonna propose to someone, I think that you should do it in an environment where they can dress up nice, so they're picture ready.
Totally.
So
That's why I chose Julie's birthday to propose because she was going to be dressed up. I
yep.
didn't have to fucking. I mean, oh, let's go take some pictures, and then I popped the question. Yeah, dude, crush said at least Photoshop the fucking vagina sweat,
Oh my
dude. Like,
god,
what
it
were
was
you
so bad.
thinking?
I said I'd be
Like,
mad
that's so
too.
bad.
I think that like I can't speak for girls, but I would assume that maybe they thought about the moment that someone gets down on one knee,
Yes,
and so
and it doesn't involve vagina sweat. Let me tell you
and it
that
doesn't
much.
involve like a hard hike.
A floppy flappy. You do not want that.
Yeah, happy, flappy,
No,
not so happy. And I also think that like uh you know let her put on like some cute shoes, not like hiking
yeah,
boots,
totally.
high
If you,
top hiking boots.
I,
Gross.
I just can't get over the. It's like unless your fucking engagement shots and be a scratch and sniff, there's no use for a floppy flappy in the picture. Like what the
No,
fuck,
that
dude?
that soggy veggie wasn't soggy in like a good way. It was like clearly a stinky like seafood platter. Gross. So,
You can literally smell
so
the
gross.
picture.
Anyway,
Woo!
on a different note, I think what's something that is fun is that I think that if you were to go on a first date, maybe grab a coffee and then go to the zoo. because there's a lot of
Yeah.
local type zoo like places, and so zoos aren't like uber expensive. Some are free, and sometimes
Yep.
like you can go to like the aquarium or the zoo on certain days for free. Um, so like everyone has a favorite animal that's probably at the zoo. So you get to know
Totally.
each other, you know. So you walk around like, what's your favorite animal? Oh, it's a lion. Let's go see the lions. I love the kangaroos. Okay, let's go see that next, you know.
Oh,
If you go to Prospect Park, they have a zoo that's free and they have peacocks running around, running amok. They're
oh,
beautiful and like loose. And they also have a red panda that is the cutest thing in the world. And so like
uh,
what better way to spend the afternoon than with like a red panda? Do you know what I mean?
totally. And I know a lot of zoos get like, bad names because there are some horrible zoos out there. But like, for example, the one Seymour just brought up, there's conservation zoos. And like, for example, one of the reasons that red pandas are not extinct is because of places like that. So
Yeah.
um, obviously you do a little research before you pick the zoo because like I said, especially if you're listening to internationally, there's some fucking awful zoos out there where they just torture and do awful things to animals and drug them and shit. But if you go to a conservation one, which there's many, many, many all over the world, you're going to see some beautiful stuff. You're going to learn also. And depending on, sometimes you get to like feed the animals, like there's little ones with like little meerkats and shit that you get to like give little bullshit to. Or like, it's fucking adorable. And you'll see some cool stuff. And again, you're walking and you're out enjoying the outdoors without like while having an actual cool activity. And while there, you can buy, a couple sodas, get some popcorn, get some snackies or something, and it's a date, and while you say, like for example, if you get like a $6 soda there and you say, "Oh, don't worry, I got you," it looks a little nicer than if you're buying like a $2 soda for someone and just say, "Oh, don't worry, I got you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the zoo is a great activity. I would be all over this.
But also, can you imagine though, like, let's say that this relationship really kicks off, and like your significant other is able to say, remember when you bought me this stuffed monkey on our first date? I still have it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a nice memory,
Have it.
you know,
Totally.
as
Absolutely.
opposed to like,
Absolutely.
as opposed to being like, man, I have a blister on my foot from that hike on our first date and it's still there. It's really bothering
From
me.
that awful fucking hike. Oh, look at my selfie. I can see my vagina sweat from that day.
Yeah.
Great. Very romantic. Yeah. So I 100% agree. Anyways, on to the next one for me. And these ones, which the pigeons are very excited for, both
Mhm.
revolve around video games. But there's a bad way to do it and a good way to do it. For the worst, number 4 on my side, the worst first date idea: video games at your apartment. Because don't get me wrong, Julie and I love gaming together. It's fantastic. 99% of the time I kick her ass, so I feel fantastic. It's great. But you don't do that until you're at least in the hanging out at your apartment stage of an actual relationship. It takes a while for that. If you're a grown ass man, then asking someone to come over to play video games, she's gonna think you're either a man child or a serial killer. Plus, you will lose extra negative points if you live with your mom while making such a move. So, couples that game together stay together, but the key word here is couples. If you want to go on a first date that revolves around video games and fun, check out a barcade or like a Dave and Buster's type situation. But ideally, barcades, because Dave and Buster's are getting kind of pricey these days. Meanwhile, barcades are cheaper and they are now literally everywhere. Because the US, as of now, has over 1,400 arcade barcaderies up to 2026, and they're especially concentrated in major metro areas like NYC, Chicago, LA, Austin, and Portland, with the concept growing steadily around 8 to 12% annually in cities. So here's the
There's
thing
a
with
really cool
barcades.
one in Jersey City. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, there is. Yes,
Yeah, I
there
like,
is.
but also
And
like when you go to a barcade, there's gonna be no kids. If you go to Dave and Buster, there's gonna be a lot of like rotten
there's
kids.
going to be a ton of kids. Yeah,
You
bar
know?
kids, it's 21 and over because it's a bar. So definitely limits the crowd. And they hit such a good sweet spot in the sense that you have nostalgia and have classic games like Pac-Man, Street Fighter, all that shit that make you feel like a kid. The racing games are super fun, great for dates.
Yes.
Plus, it's a social nightlife activity. You got drinks, you have music, it's events, shit like that. Plus, it's an experience trend. You know, people want interactive nights out instead of just sitting at a bar. Plus, $20 and a barcade goes such a long way because video games are cheap, drinks are affordable, and they usually have some like yummy bar food you can split at a really affordable price. So you can literally cover drinks, meal, and entertainment all one night and not break the bank. She's gonna have a ton of fun, or he, or they. Everybody's gonna have a ton of fun. You're gonna get to drink, enjoy, eat till your heart is merry, and it's gonna be a great time. So if you want a game, do it right. Hit up a barcade. Don't be like, hey, do you want to come play video games in my apartment with me? It's gonna be fucking awful if you do that. Trust me. Just trust me. But anyways, what you got next?
I know if I were to invite someone over and be like, hey, do you want to play Smash Brothers? And they're like, what's Smash Brothers? It would ruin me. I'd be like, what?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah, I would slam the door. No, then I would run away.
I'd
No!
run away. Okay, so my next one is so we're talking about like inexpensive things to do because dating's expensive. A lot of my friends, I feel like during the winter is cuffing season and they like have their boo to snuggle with during the winter, and then once it gets nice out, they're like sayonara sucker, and then they're doing all these dates.
Yeah.
But my friends have all lately at the bar have been complaining about how expensive it is, and actually my friend said, well, sometimes you can see a movie like a matinee and it's a little bit less expensive. And I was like, for a first date, that's horrible because then you don't get to like talk.
You can
So
talk.
first date-
Chicks, you're my coat. Yep. So true.
So I think that like I don't think that a date should be like an interrogation or an interview, but there should be some casual conversation that you can't do in the theater. I guess technically you can, but you can get yelled at and kicked out.
Yeah, it's gonna be rude as fuck.
So that's a bad idea to me. So at least if like you were to see like maybe a concert that's like super loud or whatever, like there's breaks so you can chat, you know what I mean? But a movie, I don't know.
And even a play, you can, like a nice theater play, which again gets expensive now, so it would not even fit on our list. But there is like an intermission, so then you like talk a little bit, like, "Oh wow, this is great," or "This sucks," or "Get the fuck out of here," whatever. And there is that, semblance of interactivity. But I totally agree. Sitting in a movie, it's like the whole time you're sitting there quietly, and then it also the awkward nothing to do opens the door for awkward first date moves. Like, do I do the arm around? Do I try to like touch the hand? And it creates this game of what do you do with yourself that usually leads to one or two people acting fucking crazy. Because it's like a mania inside of them that they obviously can't do anything about. They can't talk, they can't say this, so they just start fidgeting with themselves or with the other person, and they try to make moves and ways so that just you're gonna get you rejected, or it's gonna make you look like a fucking diddler, dude. So
yeah, and also like I think people think to themselves, oh, I can save a few dollars with a matinee, but you're still gonna spend an arm and a leg on like popcorn and a soda and like whatever it is that you get, you know what I mean? Like it does get pricey.
Matinee dates were only good like in high school, like movie dates, when like you knew for a fact you were gonna get like a hand job at the movie theater. Like you needed somewhere to go. Your parents were always goddamn home, and that is pretty much the only way that you could get some, was to go where you and a girl who you knew you were gonna hook up with were gonna go somewhere, and there you go. You go to a dark movie theater and fool around. That's really it. And you're fucking, after you're turning 18, I'm pretty sure that is like indecent exposure. you don't want to do that, people.
That's exactly what Lauren Boebert. That's exactly what Lauren Boebert wrote about in her memoir entitled Beef Jerky. What a stupid slut.
Butter. Just her churning butter in the cover. The Lauren Boebert story.
Jeez. Shit. So then my best option is just like going to the zoo can be fun. A lot of museums have like all for free days, or like back in the day, the Art Institute in Chicago, if you were there on a Friday, like after a certain time, free entry. Or sometimes depending on like what bank you bank with, like if you have proof that you have a Bank of America card, like they'll give you free entry to like certain museums, the first day of
Totally.
the month, or something to look into.
And
But
there's
yeah,
even
I
museums that you can get drinks at now too. Like
oh
in New York
yeah,
City, the MoMA, you can just get a little, get a little champagne while you're there, a little margarita, and then look around. And museums can be very fun because even if you're not an art snob, like if you don't, like I like history a lot, and sometimes you see paintings that I've learned about and shit, and historical moments were cool. But even if you don't know anything, you can go and like I would go and like make funny voices at the statues that look stupid. You know what I mean? Like the
totally.
British heads with the double chins. I mean, hello, like that's fun. You can have so
Or
much
like,
fun.
let's say you're not really into like oil paintings or sculptures. Like if you walk into an exhibit that has like Egyptian jewelry, you're gonna be like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like there's something for everyone
Or
at a
dinosaur
museum.
bones and shit.
Totally.
Like there's something for everyone in a museum that honestly, like as someone who hates going out and doing like passive activities like that, I will have a great time in a good museum. And you can kill hours there too.
I think that
And you're indoors and there's AC.
correct. And I also think that like sometimes like we both have the gift of gab, but not everyone does. And so I know that some
Yeah,
people get really nervous. And so when you have an activity of some sort, it kind of softens the pressure of having to maintain a conversation.
totally. It gives you something to talk about when every 5 steps you're walking across like a masterpiece. You know what I mean? So it's exactly. You don't have to lead a conversation, anyways. You just have to say, "Oh, what do you think of that? What do you think of that? That's cool," and then it naturally opens up into things. And the beauty of art is that everybody looks at art differently too. So like maybe you look at a painting of some shit and it's going to trigger some fucking memory that makes you laugh or something, and then you share that, and then you're opening up about yourself, which is ultimately what you want to do in a first date. So
Though I'm gonna be honest, I have a confession. I'm kind of a hypocrite because I don't think I've ever been to a museum that wasn't a field trip. And so, like, people talk about the Guggenheim or MoMA. I don't know where it is on the map. I've never been. I mean, I would go if someone say, "Hey, can we go together?" Okay, yeah, we can go. But it's nothing that like it's just not. I'd rather go to happy hour.
see, I've been with a girl to a museum and it was very cool. But I also went during our good friend of the show, John Colbauer. His bachelor party was in New York years ago before you even moved here.
Uh huh.
Uh, and one of the things that we did was we went to the Museum of History in the city, and they have a rooftop bar up there that
Oh,
was open.
really?
Yeah, so we all
Sign me
grabbed
up. I'm
drinks.
ready. Let's go.
It was great. Fucking, we all had like 3 margaritas while we were up there. It was a hot day too, so it was super refreshing. And then we went inside and dicked around, and like we all split up into what we wanted to see. Some of us stayed together, some of us went off into groups, and it was great. Just kind of like stumbling around a museum because the drinks were strong. So I have done it as a date. I've done it as an activity. It was where you get boozy, and I have to say, it was fucking awesome. Now, obviously, there's some museums where they're not like that. Like, obviously, you have to choose a museum that's entertaining. Like, you don't want to do a first date at the Holocaust Museum. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, a great museum to check out, but very depressing stuff, obviously, because of the subject matter. So, pick something that is uplifting and cool if you're going to do the museum route.
Yeah.
Would be tip around it. All right. Well, on to the next one. So, on to the worst. We talked about how we can't do theater because it's too expensive. This is the answer to that. On the worst side, if you want to cut money because you can't afford the theater, don't think it's a good idea to go to a local play date. You know, you feel like taking someone to a local play date on a first date feels like a power move. You're thinking theater, culture, maybe a little Broadway energy, but saving money in the wallet. Yeah, no. What you actually sign up for is community theater with the budget of a 6-year-old going for a candy run. Like you walk in expecting Broadway and immediately realize the set is 3 chairs and a curtain that's fighting for its fucking life. And look, respect for the actors. They're trying. I've done community theater, but you can't tell me that you can't physically tell me that this less performance and more of a my coworker told me to come support kind of atmosphere here. You know what I mean? So half the cast is projecting like they're in a 500-seat theater. The other half sounds like they're ordering at a drive-through. But the real problem, like just like the movies, is you can't even talk because a first date is about getting to know each other. Instead, you're sitting there in silence for 90 minutes watching someone dramatically monologue about a fake breakup. You're learning more about the characters on stage than the person next to you, and you can't react either because if the play is bad, you're trapped, and like they can see you. It's not like in fucking Broadway where it's this massive theater. It's like 6 lawn chairs, and they're all right there. And if you go to the bathroom, they know. If you cough, they know. So you can't laugh, you can't comment, you can't even make that eye contact. Like, hey, this is rough, right? So you just sit there quietly suffering together, but not bonding. And then after it's over, you're expected to have thoughts. So it's like, what did you think? I don't know. I blacked out somewhere between Act One and that fake British accent. You know what I mean? So yeah, you don't want to do that. What you do want to do is something. If you want to go cheap and you want to be around people, check out trivia night at your local bar.
You know, that's
You know
a
what I
really
mean?
good idea. And when I saw that on the list, I was like, oh, that's really good. That's fun.
Totally. It's built-in entertainment carries you. And even if the chemistry isn't amazing, you're still having a decent time, which is a huge safety net for something for a first date. And, drinks are usually not too expensive. You sign up, it's usually free. Plus, there's prizes if you win. You can even win some money back, if anything. So it gets that competitive drive going. If you guys win, it gets that those good endorphins going of feeling good after a victory. It gets you to bond, and maybe it becomes an activity after if you become official. But yes, avoid the community theater. It's gonna be a bad time, even if it's your best friend. Don't do it. Check out trivia night instead. I know what you got.
Have you ever had someone invite you to an improv show
Oh yes.
and it was like horrible?
And it was their friend's improv show.
Yeah.
And then I had to meet their stupid friend after and be like, that was so funny when it was like the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm always like, you're so brave.
Like, believe me, I'd bond before, but whoo.
It's like, um, they get together as a group and they're like, like, what is happening? And they're like, you couldn't tell I was a piece of bacon sizzling on the frying pan. Like,
yeah,
dude.
dude. And that's
Oh,
the thing.
yeah,
Good
that's so
improv
artistic.
is really fun. Good improv is really fun, but bad improv is
Ugh,
torture, dude. Like
yeah.
the worst.
It's like
Oh,
if you have bad sex, whatever, at least you're having sex. You know what I mean? But like
right.
bad improv, you're right.
That's not
Like,
comedy. That is not. I
ooh,
don't know what the fuck it is. It's just painful. It's just
so
awkward for everybody.
painful, but so brave. Okay, so my like number 2 worst one is similar to when you said like um video games. Like I think cooking at home together is not a good first date. Maybe it's a third date activity, but for first date, although
Totally.
it's intimate and expensive, I think it's too soon and it's just unsafe to go to someone's house you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now if you
Agreed.
got drinks with someone and one thing leads to another, at least you've already built a rapport and then you go back to their house, I guess. But if you start off
Totally.
at a stranger's house not having like felt that connection, then um I don't know. I think it's just bad news. Actually,
Yeah, you're asking for it. You're asking for
oh
it. Plus, unlike like drinking, like drinks or coffee, you can't just like casually get out. You know what I mean? Like now
yeah,
you're committed to at least maybe the food shopping part because you got to figure something out. You got to prep the meal. You got to cook it, then eating. So that's like 2 to 3 hours of minimum contact, like contracted contact with a stranger. So if the vibe is off 10 minutes in, congratulations, you are now fucking sauteing in silence because it's not like a coffee date or drinks. You can be like, oh, I got to go real quick. It's like you're committed to cooking, you're committed to like eating, you're committed to the whole shebang bang. So like if the fucking night sucks, you're in for an awful time. So just note, it sets you up for a whole lot longer interaction than you might want on a first date.
yeah, I agree. I got drinks a while back. I was visiting Chicago, and um I met some guy on one of those apps. No, it was something like Grinder, but we met up at this bar, and I totally got serial killer vibes. I thought to myself, if I go home with
Yeah,
this guy, no one's ever going to see me again. But like
totally.
sometimes, like you can't necessarily articulate it, but you just get these like gut feelings. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's important to have that initial first impression, and not to be in the confines of that person's home where you don't
Absolutely.
know, um, you don't have an exit strategy. You know.
Like, can you imagine just like, hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Jeffrey Dahmer. Is that you? Thanks for inviting me over for dinner. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
What are we having? It smells kind of fishy. Oh, wait, why do you have three locks on your door? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, why isn't this opening? Oh, what are you doing with that drill? And then there you go, and then you're done. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
yeah.
what's that? What's that Glade plug-in I smell? Is that chloroform? Wow.
That's a
All
good.
right. Exactly. Um,
So, yeah,
so
yeah.
I think a better option is like I like community events or local like neighborhood block parties. So in Chicago, the summers are great because there's like a block party somewhere every
Yes.
weekend. So they're normally free, or they might have like a suggested donation, and then you should donate to like local things. And they're gonna have
Totally.
like music, free music. There's be like games. So if you want to have a competitive moment with your date, or when your date something, there's food and drink, nothing too fancy, but like who doesn't like a good corn dog? You know what I mean? So
Totally.
I'd like to
And
eat
if you
two at a time. I don't even chew. So I
sometimes
think,
a long way.
yeah, so I think that's a fun thing to do.
And no, like if you don't have, like for example, like there's a lot of block parties here in Hoboken, New York City, states, places like that. But if you don't live in a block party area, you probably live somewhere where you have town fairs that come every summer, and they're there all the time with the Ferris wheels, the corn dogs, the hot dogs. It's basically a block party, but just bigger, and they're still cheap as fuck. You go in there with a couple of bucks, buy some snacks, walk around, see the animals, play the games. You're gonna have a great time. So yeah, and there's usually like a concert performers too. Like there's all kinds of shit at the fair. I worked a fair once in Maryland to get credit for you get like community service credit to graduate high school,
Yeah.
and I was surprised by how fun they were. So yeah, check it
Yeah,
out.
dude.
Good times, and they're great. Like I remember after I would get off the fair, they would give you like free tickets for shit, and I would hit up my crush and be like, "Hey, you wanna meet me at the fair and we could play some games?" And it was adorable, damn it. So yeah, that's good stuff. Good.
I like throwing ping pong balls in little fish bowls.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Or like the one where it's like a little gun that fills with water and you shoot it into the clown's mouth and there's a balloon that
I like that. I've never liked the one where you have to toss like a softball into like a tilted like basket, or
Oh
you have to
yeah.
knock down the three pins. I think they're scams.
Yeah, they are scams. And there's also another one where you like flick a coin, and if it lands in like a circle, like directly, there's like circles all over it. And if the coin fits perfectly on it, you get it like a big teddy bear. And I remember my dad once got it perfectly on the thing. And the guy then was like, "Oh, I have to go check how perfect it is." And he literally jumped up to like on like the playboard, so then when his ass landed on it, it fucking like vibrated and the coin like moved over slightly. And he was like, "Nope, it's not in the thing." And we were all like, "Are you fucking serious?" And my dad literally almost fought that man.
So
So
did the guy cave? Was he like, okay, okay, you can have the fucking stuffed animal?
no, we literally were like, "Fuck you," and then we moved on. We honestly didn't even want to carry the goddamn thing around the park, anyways. It was more the principle of the matter.
Hmm.
But my dad made such a stink that at least the people around us decided not to play the fucking game. But it was like, dude, like, yeah, a lot of them are scams. So you got to figure out the stuff that isn't a scam. Like even shooting basketballs, all that stuff is fun. Uh, or if they have bumper cards or shit like that, that's the best. So yeah, that's a fun date.
Any tent that has like a wheel to spin for something, I'm like, I love spinning wheels.
Sold.
I don't know what it is. I
Yeah.
grew up watching Wheel of Fortune.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, The
That's
Price is
exactly
Right.
what it is. Because like I love bars that have like the spin the wheel nights. You feel like you're like, all right, what are you gonna get? You know, I'm going for it, Bob. Neuter and spay your pets. Here we go. Or Drew Carey now. But yeah, if you feel there's something about spinning a wheel that makes you feel
I want a wheel
alive.
that says free shot, nipple play, like draft beer, anal. That's my kind of wheel, you know. One day,
One day. That's
yeah.
when you buy your own bar. The Chris Moore and Diddy bar. Coming your
I
way.
don't want. I didn't do the diddler.
Coming soon to Epstein Island.
Oh God. I wonder if they were friends. I think that.
It
I
doesn't
think
seem
that.
like.
I feel like Diddy was probably went to Epstein Island and was like, "This is such a good idea. I could do this."
Well, the thing is, Diddy was having his own freaky party, so he didn't need to go to Jeffrey Epstein's. But
I know, but I wonder if Jeffrey Epstein like inspired him.
that's true. Maybe.
Maybe.
However, Diddy had been saying there's a quote from him in like '97 where he was even like, one of these days the state and the government's gonna have to shut down these parties because they're getting so wild, you know. So it's like he knew these motherfuckers. These parties have been going on for way longer. I wonder who started first in their diddling. Who's the king of the diddlers? Maybe that's a topic.
Yeah.
We can do a tournament bracket. I don't know. Then maybe it's too much. But anyways, on to the next one.
Donald Trump would win. He wins he has all the prizes, all the awards, all the trophies. He would win that.
He might be mad if he didn't win too. I'm the greatest diddler you've ever seen. Believe me, I'm little better than Jeffrey, than Diddy, you name it. Bill Cosby, I taught him how to diddle. Believe me, he was like, I was like, you should slip a little something in their drink. Okay, believe me, then you can grab them anywhere. Anywho, for my number 2, on the worst side, and I unfortunately know way too many guys have done this shit. And not even like in college where I think that's the latest that you'll have an excuse to do something like this, but like into their later 20s and early 30s, pull this shit. It's I have a coupon for this chain restaurant date, because nothing sets the mood like pulling out a folded, slightly greasy coupon and saying to your date, don't worry, baby. It's buy one entree, get one half off. Oh, yeah. Like, romance is alive and deeply discounted? Come on, dude. A coupon has no place anywhere near first date. You save that shit for when you're in a stable, established relationship, because then you look crafty. Pulling out a coupon on a first date isn't just cheap. It's like a personality reveal. Because what kind of person does that?
Moms.
That's not someone who ended up with a coupon. That's someone who planned the date around the coupon. Like, this wasn't, hey, let's grab date. This was, hey, between 4 to 6 on Tuesday, mozzarella sticks are half off. You in? That's not what you want. That doesn't get the panties wet. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Buffalo Wild Wings has unlimited apps for like $10 right now.
Right? Oh, man. We should go, though. That's like
I'm down for that.
I'm so down.
I don't need a date. I can rub one out when I get home and be equally as satisfied.
That'd be great.
No one can touch me the way I touch me, motherfucker. I'm not trying to stand in line at the free clinic.
Not again.
Not again. I have a really good track record, to be honest. I hear some of my friends talk about, like, I got the itches and scratches again. I'm like, again? Oh my God. It wasn't enough to scare you to make better choices?
Yeah, dude. Like,
Inspect that shit before you sit on it. My God.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
Turn on the lights for a minute. Like, good Lord.
Oof.
But anyways, don't do the coupon. If you're low on funds and you still want to do something that's cool and a good date, try one that I think is a very underrated move, the dessert-only date. It's intentional. It's fun. It skips all the boring parts of a full dinner. Plus, you can go to places you normally couldn't afford a full meal at just for dessert, which is quite genius, actually. It also sends the message, I value your time, But if this date sucks, we don't need to waste our time and money because first dates can be super expensive, especially in cities like New York City. And if the guy is expected to pay for everything, this can really make it harder and add up. Because imagine this: you go on a first date and you pay for everything in a nice restaurant, including drinks. That is at least $200 in New York City, and that's on the
Yeah.
low end in some places. So if it doesn't work out, you have to go on another date. So that's another $200. If it also doesn't work out, like let's say if you go on 5 dates in a month, which for a single person is about what they do, especially if you're on the apps, you're spending at least $1,000 a month to get rejected. Like you can spend way less than that to get rejected by just becoming a comedian. Let me tell you, we eat shit for free. We
Yeah.
pay sometimes to go to open mics to eat shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it is. You can do that. Just become one of us, and you'll be fine. No, dude. It gets crazy. So try a little dessert. You can take her somewhere nice, or maybe a nice ice cream shop if you want. But there are so many awesome desserts in the areas and cool places where you can go and check out where it looks like, hey, this guy's putting in the effort. It's not too much time commitment, so it makes a date fun and casual and slightly different. And then you can eat at home beforehand, and afterwards you can tag along a thing like a walk, like the coffee and walking things, and everything going to be already mentioned. So,
Do you remember the Italian dessert spot in Baltimore City called Bocardo's?
yes,
And like once a week they would have like unlimited like coffee and desserts for a certain price, which was almost kind of a scam because her coffees were so big and the dessert, like a cannoli, was so rich and filling. And you couldn't get another dessert unless you absolutely finished the first one. But like they're so sickeningly sweet that like you're better off just buying as you go, you know.
right.
Can you imagine if you took someone to all you can eat dessert on the first date and like you're sitting there waiting for them and they're just like chowing down like dessert after dessert after dessert, and you know they're not going to go to Pound Town because it's going to like upset their stomach, you know?
That's true. That's definitely true. Definitely maybe not the dessert buffet, just like a normal, a normal dessert, a normal portion size one. Yes, that is true. There is a great classic Simpsons episode where Homer Simpson goes to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and he eats so much that eventually the place has to close down, and they like physically remove him. So he sues, and it becomes a whole thing. It's like literally a classic Simpsons
I know that
episode.
episode.
Marge is like asleep on the table and he's still eating.
I think a lot of the restaurants in Astoria, they have all you can drink like bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys for brunch, but they have like an hour or like an hour and a half cut off because of people like me. Because I can sit
Yeah,
there all day and be like, fill her up.
totally.
You know?
Especially mimosas. Mimosas are easy to drink a lot of.
They give
But
me
I
headaches
hate the
though.
1 hour time limits because then they fuck you. So then they take like 10 minutes to get you each drink. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, you motherfuckers. So you have to like
I always
literally
order them in pairs.
chug. Same. You get two.
Can I have a
You just get
carafe
two.
of champagne and a carafe of orange juice, and I can just concoct them myself here?
Yep. And
I
I'll
only
chug
need
the
this much
first one they
orange juice
hand me.
and that much. Yeah.
And yep, the second one will be my sipping cup, but the first one you chug down immediately. But you
Correct.
always go in twos. Yep. See, this is side lessons from the Frat Chat podcast. Those are free
Well,
from the top.
this is my number one like worst idea, and I think it's really selfish to invite a first date to hang out with you and your friends. So I think it's already like a lot of pressure to impress your date. Then you have to impress your date and his or her friends. So I think a date should always be one-on-one. Yeah, I think that's horrible. That's so
You should
uncomfortable.
be getting to know your first date and his friends and try to impress all of them at the same time. That is so awkward because at least when you are already dating someone and you meet their friends, you kind of like they prepare you a little bit and you know each other. It's like, okay, I'll hang out with you. But here you don't even have the safety net of that. So
Correct.
it's literally like you're just in the wild and it can get very awkward.
I also think you shouldn't bring them to like your favorite like local bar because if it if it gets uncomfortable, then they know you're always going to be there if they want to just surprise you. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And then if you take them somewhere where there's a chance that some of your friends could pop in, that makes it uncomfortable because then you're like, oh, who's this? Oh, this is my I don't know what are we? So this is my date. You know, so
Yeah.
far so good. How's it going? Oh, you know,
Yeah.
we'll see. You know,
This is my friend.
it's my
Ooh,
friend. What
yeah.
do you mean friend? Well, I mean it's you
Totally.
know,
Totally. You want to be clear what you are before you go around introducing someone to your family, and even worse if you or to your friends, and even worse if you add their family into the mix. Like,
totally.
yeah,
This
that
is
can.
my friend, but what do you think about moving to New York and making this like a full-time thing? So bad
Would you ever
news.
want to move in and hang out with all of this?
Yeah, this could all be yours.
That someone farts.
Yeah. Taco
Oh yeah,
Tuesday, every Tuesday could be our own private Taco Tuesday.
that's right.
We start with these tacos and then we're going to finish with your pink taco.
Hey-o.
Heyo. Okay, so I think the best one is I think this is like will get you major brownie points if you can finagle a way to um, uh, find yourself outside in a nice on a nice day and watch the sunset together. So like if whether you're on like walking like on a beach, if you're like on the coast somewhere, or like on a pier, or like it's just on like a bench or sitting on a blanket, anywhere that overlooking maybe the water or something, and you're able to get a nice view and make that time of day intentional, then I think you've won. You know, so I think um, effort is more important than money. And so if someone were to say, you know, if I was describing my first date and I said, oh, he took me here and there and then we watched the sunset, I mean, that will always trump like, oh, we took me to a nice dinner. So I don't care how
That's right.
expensive the dinner is, but someone says, oh, they took me here and there and we had a nice conversation and watched the sunset. Like that's like baller. And that's
Totally.
free. The sun is free.
And another good excuse to show those Instagram boyfriend picture taking skills. Get
Yeah,
pictures
of
with the
course.
sunset and everything. It creates that beautiful memory that then they'll look back in the picture and be like, "Damn, this guy or girl, this person is fucking awesome."
Hmm.
So I agree. I 1,000% agree, and it'll actually lead greatly into my number one, the best side, which I'll get to in a moment. Because first, we got to get to the worst. Number one activity, in my opinion, that you can do on a first date, and that's taking someone to a comedy open mic on a first date. Because it's a fucking wild move. Because it's not even a comedy show, and it's an open mic. That's not entertainment. That's like unfinished homework with a microphone. Like
Yeah.
most of the lineup isn't performing; they're processing. You're literally watching people work through issues that they should have brought up to therapy, but instead they're spotlighting. There's a spotlight and folding chair audience, and for comedians,
Yeah. It's
right?
true. Yeah.
And for comedians like Seaman and I, this is a if you know situation. For the rest of you, you should know that like 75% of open mic comments are in that like edgelord phase where every joke is them trying to say like the most outrageous shit possible just to see if it gets a reaction. Like it's
Hmm.
not even punchlines, it's just tension with a mic stand. It's some idiot saying the R word. So comics get that this is what you have to deal with to practice sometime. But if your date doesn't, oh, you just brought a civilian into a war zone, dude. So now you're sitting there on a first date trying to figure out the rules. Do you laugh? Do you not laugh? Because if you laugh at the wrong joke, your date immediately hits you with that look like, oh, okay, this is who you are as a person, huh?
Yeah.
Let me make sure not to fuck you
Yeah.
ever. Like you are done. Now the whole night isn't
Yep.
about chemistry. It's about you quietly doing PR for your own personality. And the room itself makes it worse because it's usually bad lighting, like I said, folding chairs. One guy in the back laughing way too hard at everything. And of course, he's also performing later. So nobody's comfortable. Not the comics, not the crowds, and definitely not your date. And by the end of the
Hmm.
night, you didn't save any money. You lost all fucking momentum. It was like that is literally it. You have to go to the bar 16 times just to fucking make it through the night. So you're gonna spend all the money drinking shitty Bud Light, and yeah, again, it's gonna lead to a PR nightmare with your date. So on the positive side, something that you could pair up
Well,
with
let me
C.
ask you something. Have you ever taken Julie to one of your open mics?
Yes, we have gone to a mic, but at least it was one that was ran by Barack Ziv, my buddy, our buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a supportive mic with comedians that she had already seen, and that's the only reason I went to do it. And that's the reason why I had her come with me too, because then we went and got lunch in the area where it was at, and it was like a nice day out. The venue was had an outdoor seating patio, which was nice. So it was cute. It was, like
Was this
actually was
early on in your relationship or more established?
no more established for sure. Not in the
Like,
beginning, not a chance in
can you
hell.
imagine if you took her to an open mic and you bombed?
Right. That would be
And
fucking
she was like,
painful.
"Wow, I knew you were a sweaty guy, but you were really sweaty up there."
That's the thing too, dude. Even if you're good, like most people on mics are looking at their notes and shit. They're not fucking listening to you whatsoever. So
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing where, half the time you go in there to get the jokes out, not expecting anyone to really laugh. And if you hear someone go like, it's like, oh, okay, someone laughed. You take note of that. But it's like you're just literally practicing to get the words and get word economy for jokes and shit like that. So no one's
Mm-hmm.
fucking listening to you. Yeah,
Correct.
that would be, that's, yeah. Especially if you're performing, that's even worse than just going to watch. Because if you suck, and you're probably going to, I can feel the dryness now in those seats. Uh, but anyways, for the main one, which, as I was saying, goes perfect with Simo's watching the sunset, is a park picnic or just a picnic because it feels romantic, it looks thoughtful, and it costs basically nothing. You show up with some snacks, maybe some sandwiches or a cheese board, like a charcuterie, a blanket, maybe a bottle of wine, which you can get a fucking giant one for like $10. And suddenly you look like you planned something meaningful instead of just being broke. You add in a beautiful sunset, as Simo just mentioned, and you're sitting there, fucking feeding grapes to your potential significant other while the sun is going down. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful moment. It leads to something that then you can take those pictures, remember those memories, and have a great old time. And literally, you can do it with spending maybe like $30
Yeah,
between
but I do think that like
snacks.
presentation's really important. So it has to be like a good quality blanket, like a nice quilt. But if you have like a cheap like t-shirt material like bed sheet that has stains on it, whether it's
Yeah.
doo-doo stains, love making stains, or period juice, fuck. You know,
the actual mattress sheets from your bed. You know what I mean? Don't bring those.
the fitted ones,
Yes, that's
the
right.
fitted sheet. Oh
Don't bring the
God, can
fitted
you
sheets.
imagine?
Don't just rip the sheets off your bed and go to a fucking picnic. You have to have like a dedicated picnic blanket, which again, not too expensive. Something cute. You can buy one on Amazon right now for like $10 if you want something brand new. But you
Totally.
probably have something laying around that your mom has passed you down. So you can really do a whole picnic date for no more than $40, which includes buying a brand new blanket, food, snacks, wine, and then that's it. You're good. You're set. So
Mm-hmm.
add in the sunset, like Simo said, for a little visual stimulation. And you can have yourself a wonderful time that is cheap, it's beautiful, and maybe, just maybe, it'll lead to them asking, "Hey, want to go to your place?" Which is ultimately what you want.
You
And of
know,
course,
back in
meeting
the
a comedian.
day, when I lived in Chicago, I used to take guys to the Signature Lounge, which was it's like the 96th floor of the John Hancock building. And you could see that a great view of the whole city. But I would go on particular nights where I knew they were going to have fireworks. So I would pick a table by the window that would be near the Navy Pier where they do fireworks like every Saturday. And I would get there early enough and then while we're winding down and we're finishing, there'd be fireworks going off, right next to us. I'm like, oh wow, look at that.
Sweet.
Like, oh wow, this is beautiful. Oh yeah, this is nice. I planned it, but I acted as if I didn't. It was just spontaneous.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah, it makes it look spontaneous. It's a sign.
it's a sign that we're gonna explode on each other later.
That's right. Oh man, yeah, no, it's add like stuff like that because that's the beauty of being able to do like a picnic or something like places like New York City, different cities, not just New York City, have like fireworks night or like movie night at the park, where you can do your picnic and watch a movie. Like there's so many like free activities that come along with doing like a picnic or an outdoor activity like that it's definitely worth looking into. Again, you just want to have something where you look like Simo said, effort trumps cash. And remember that, Donald, because effort is very important. So we can leave you on that. That is our top 10 best and worst first date ideas if you want to save some money. Brought to you by the Frat Chat Podcast. So let us know what you thought of our list. Shoot us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Also, let us know if there's any tips for first date ideas that we missed on the best or worst side, and any topics that you want to suggest, any questions you want to ask us. You guys have been on a roll. We love hearing from you. Shoot us an email from the listeners, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. We will feature the best ones on the show or the most interesting ones. And note that even if we haven't picked yours yet, we might still pick it later on. So have some faith, have some patience. We'll come back around. So again, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email, and it's going to be great. Also, give us 5 stars wherever you're listening to. iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Deezer, the good people of India, and your GeoSong providers, and all the good ones that we're on. Check them out. Like it. Love it. Great reviews. 5 stars. It'll do us a lot of favors. Get more listeners, which is great. Also, make sure you give us a follow on all social channels at Frat Chat Podcast. That's on Instagram. That's on Threads, YouTube, good old Facebook, also Twitter/X. You can also give me a follow as well. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com, for show dates and all the good stuff. You can also check my socials out at Carlos Does the World on Instagram, on TikTok, on Threads, on YouTube, on Facebook. Carlos Does the World on Twitter/X. And last but not least, make sure to check out my good buddy Simo over here at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram and TikTok, and Seymour Comedy on Twitter/X. Oh yeah! So, Mr. Mo, we have educated our listeners on how to hopefully meet the one, maybe get some sexy time after a date. So why don't you please get us out of here?
You know, I just wanted to say real quick that if I was going to plan a first date, I would message them and be like, what do you think about dog fights? And they were like, what? Just kidding. Like clowns? Are clowns okay? So I learned a lot today. Thanks for this episode. Okay, I motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I second. All right, you guys, we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts and time. Me from the East Coast and Simo from Chicago. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. See ya.
Adios.